basically he's done the big profile. You came in the other day, enough with Aaron Judge. I'm done with Aaron Judge. You want a shot at Tom Verducci here, who comes in and writes the glorified mythology of the sports writer, celebrating the big slugger for the modern pinstripe times.
No, I'm sure it's lovely. How long was it, Tom? A couple thousand words? What are we?
Yeah, a few thousand words. Yeah. What's cool is you guys probably know Aaron Judge doesn't do a lot of sit-down interviews. Doesn't do a lot of one-on-ones at all. So it was cool to actually sit down and get inside his head a little bit as he's going through this chase.
I assumed it's because he was boring, honestly.
Is he a big meathead, or is it because he's boring?
A little of both. Listen, he's had nothing but positive press throughout his career, right? But I mean, it sounds cliches, but it's easy to get him to talk about the team and winning, and it's harder to get him to talk about himself. But that's who he is.
How much do you think, not about the chase or your piece, how much do you think the Yankees cost themselves by not extending him before the season? Because if he wins the MVP and the Triple Crown, it's not going to be cheap to bring him back.
Yeah, probably $75 to $90 million. I mean, listen, they made an offer on the table, $31.5 million. They're paying Giancarlo Stanton and Garrett Cole going forward $35 million a year. The Angels are paying Anthony Rendon $35 million a year. So it was a hometown discount. I get that. But with the numbers he put up this season, and most importantly, stayed healthy the whole year, that was the one knock the Yankees had on him. I got to believe he's getting close to 7 times 40 rather than 7 times 31.5.
And you think it will be with the Yankees?
I do. I think it's hard to imagine that the Yankees won't be the highest bidder. I mean, listen, he sells more jerseys than anybody in baseball. People go to the ballpark to see him. He's an everyday player. He's the greatest homegrown Yankee slugger since Mickey Mantle. He's a marketing dream for any team, but especially for the Yankees. And it's hard for me to believe that the Mets or the Giants are going to outbid the New York Yankees, but they will have to be the top bidder, I believe.
How is it in 2022 that you could be a marketing dream when you don't say anything? You're just statuesque and beautiful.
You hit 60
and
homers.
hit the ball really far as a
city.
Yankee. But you're saying it. But Mike Trout has been great for a long time.
In Anaheim.
In Anaheim, it's that simple still, Tom.
Not that simple. I mean, it helps being 6'7" and 282 pounds. He's literally the biggest guy who's ever played baseball, at least a position player. The number 99, the judge's chamber. I mean, and he's a home run hitter. People love home run hitters. We all get that. And he plays for the Yankees. So he's got the biggest platform to perform. And what he's doing this year is historic. So, he's now matching the platform that he had with performance.
Whittingham has an objection to Judge, and I'm with him on this, Verducci, and perhaps you could get with the times as an old-timey sports writer here and listen to Whittingham, who's got some advice. As you say, he's a marketing dream, and it's a meathead who clubs home runs and, does rarely one-on-one interviews, and when he sits down with Verducci, the soul searcher, gives him a few crumbles and quotes about the team, but isn't a market. We will build the mythology around this guy, and Whittingham saying not anymore. It's not enough to just be a great slugger.
I just need a hook, Tom. I need something about Aaron Judge beyond the home run hitting, the excellence, the Triple Crown, the MVP that is eventually coming his way. Even earlier this year, I was kind of surprised that Aaron Judge was in the running to be AL MVP just because I assumed that Ohtani was running away with it because of his ability as both a hitter and a pitcher. And I was also kind of mentioning, I think I know more about Edwin Diaz because he has a song that leads him out onto the field. I think Timmy Trumpet is as big of a baseball figure as anyone. I don't mean to insult, but is there anything in your piece or in learning about Aaron Judge that gives him a hook? I need something beyond his excellence.
No, I get it. I mean, listen, you want some personality, right? I mean, it's not to say it's not there, but he's just the kind of flatline kind of guy with the way that he plays. You watch Aaron Judge play in right field, everything is under control. His parents are school teachers. He's very respectful. Listen, I don't think he goes swimming within an hour after eating lunch. I mean, he's that kind of guy, right? So we're looking for personality. I get it. I'm not sure there's a lot there in terms of being super interesting. I mean, he's a nice guy. I will tell you that. But what does that mean in terms of, national appeal? We saw that with Mike Trout, right? What's the hook for Mike Trout? He's probably the best player of our generation, all-around player. And yet part of it is because we haven't seen him win a postseason game. He doesn't have any kind of a national profile, right? So partly it's baseball's fault. It's just not as big as the other sports right now. But I do agree that there's Aaron doesn't give you a big window into that personality. I'm not sure what there is other than this is a really hard game to play on an everyday basis, and he's a nose to the grindstone kind of guy. I'm not sure we're missing something there about,
I hate nose to the grindstone kind of guys. I don't like those. I hate to write about those. Tom, I want your honest opinion here as a man who's done this well for a really long time. You sat at the computer writing this, and you're like, this guy needs to be more interesting. I'm trying to make him interesting, but he's nose to the grindstone guy. I've been doing this too long.
Name recognition.
I've been doing this too long to write about nose to the grindstone guy. Or can you cultivate the spiritual peace around any athletic vessel, no matter how much the meathead?
Yeah, I don't know if you can make it up, but I was fascinated on this side that, what is it about him at his side his size enabled him to stay healthy? Because, again, that was the knock the Yankees had on this guy. He was pulling obliques. He had calf injuries. He told me an interesting story about, just as recently as, 3 years ago, he'd have one bat at bat to start a game and go right to the indoor batting cage during the game and start swinging, trying to work his way through it. And it was Edwin Encarnacion, a veteran teammate, who told him, dude, all you're doing is practicing bad swings and you're going to get yourself hurt. And kind of a light bulb went on for him. You rarely see him take BP before a game now. He has really cut back on his workload. He never did any kind of recovery when he was young, right? We're 25 and 26 years old. We're all bulletproof. He would just go home, have dinner, go to bed, wake up the next day, do the same thing. Now he's stretching after games. He's going into the hot and cold tubs. He's doing all this kind of recovery stuff. Basically, he's learned how to manage through a 162-game season, a 282-pound body. And he's been healthy the last 2 years. Is that exciting? No, but it's interesting to me that this guy who's playing baseball at a size we've never seen before has kind of, at least for now, conquered that one knock against him that the Yankees did have.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Will Aaron Judge forever be unable to capture America's heart because he refuses to rebelliously swim 9 minutes after eating? At Le Batard
It's dangerous,
Show.
Dan, to do that.
Why isn't Ohtani just the runaway MVP, given that he is quite literally a player without precedent?
No, I agree. Most amazing player I've ever seen. I don't even know who's number two, but doing what he's doing is the most amazing thing in baseball. But if you're talking about valuable, they haven't played a meaningful game all year, at least since May. Judge has carried the Yankees in the second half of the season with all their injuries, and the lineup really has not produced well. I mean, Aaron Judge right now has had more home runs than anybody who's ever won a batting title. So we look at a guy hitting over 300, probably will win the Triple Crown or at least be close for a first-place team. He leads in 10 offensive categories. Here's the big thing for me, guys. He's got 20 more home runs than everybody else in baseball. You guys know back in the day with Babe Ruth and those guys, it was easy to be an outlier. The depth of talent was nothing like what it is today. And yet Judge is 20 home runs clear of the field. That hasn't happened since Babe Ruth in 1928. So basically, you've got two unicorns, right? Ohtani doing the pitching, hitting thing, and Judge hitting like nobody else, literally nobody else in baseball. But for me, he's the MVP when you throw in the context of first place team. It's not Ohtani's fault he's playing on a bad team. It's like Judge is going to get extra credit for doing it in meaningful spots.
Tom, in a strange world where I say, hey, you can manage the Mets or the Yankees in the postseason with the obvious goal of winning a World Series, what team would you choose?
Wow, that's a great question. I would probably still take the Yankees because I know they have a bye in the first round. I think the new playoff format is too heavily weighted towards the 1 and 2 seeds. You know, you're playing a team that's coming out of a 3-game series, already burned their 1 and 2, maybe 3 pitchers. Your staff is rested going in. The Braves play the Mets, as you guys know, that last weekend of the season. And it'll probably come down to that. So if the Mets are the 2 seed, that is a tough road to, rather 3 seed. That's a tough road to win the World Series. Listen, Houston's sitting out there, and Houston has a better club than the Yankees, and they've proved that this year.
Well, the Dodgers are
so
better
I'm
than
not
both.
putting the Yankees in the World Series, but
Right.
I like the teams with the bye in the first round.
Right. I mean, the Dodgers are better than both, but I was just going by pitching staff, essentially. Like, I'd rather have the Mets pitching staff.
Yeah, but if the Mets have to burn DeGrom
Right.
and Scherzer just to get to a DS, they could be vulnerable to the Dodgers,